It's now time to pivot and take a quick look at today's business headlines. And for a little help with that, let's bring in the Executive Vice President of the Commonwealth Foundation and fellow at Independent Women's Forum, Jennifer Stefano, as well as business and markets analyst and Newsmax contributor, Seth Denson. Good morning to you both. Happy Friday.
Good morning. Happy Good Friday.
Yeah. All right, guys, the markets all finishing in the red yesterday, and the markets are closed today, of course, for Good Friday. But the big headline, we already know, Elon Musk making a $43 billion offer to buy Twitter. He has said he wants to unlock the platform's potential and make it an arena for free speech. Last week, he actually turned down a seat on Twitter's board of directors, the same board that will now decide if they will actually accept his offer of $54.20 a share. Seth, so much to unpack here. First off, do you think Twitter will sell to Musk? Second, what does a hostile takeover actually mean? Because that's been thrown around a lot. Can you break down what that means?
Yeah, so first, to the first part of the question, will Twitter sell? Man, unless they get a better offer, they're going to be hard-pressed not to for reasons of what we call fiduciary liability. They're a fiduciary of the shareholders, Twitter is, and so they have legal responsibility to do what's in the best interest of the shareholders. And this is a much better offer than where their stock is right now. So they're going to have to consider that, but I don't think they do. I think they're going to wrangle up enough offers and enough board members to keep that thing from happening. Now, what is a hostile takeover? This isn't yet. A hostile takeover is when you take over a company against management's wishes. So Elon has made an offer. Management, if they said no, he could then pivot to hostile takeover where he would go after other shareholders, maybe go to the open market, buy enough shares to try to replace the board or do something of that sort. He could go to Jack Dorsey, maybe buy up his shares, right? So this is what Elon could do. We're not in hostile takeover situation yet, but it could come if Elon doesn't get his way and buys it this way.
Jennifer, I want to stay on the same topic. What does this mean right now for those who currently hold Twitter stock? And is now the time for investors to buy Twitter?
Well, look, Elon is good for business. He has jumped the stock. It was at about $29.9 billion, and now it's valued at over $40 billion. So I think it is a real boon to all the shareholders of Twitter. But more importantly, if you really listen to what Musk is saying, he is not buying this as a money-making deal. He really believes in the United States, a country he immigrated to, and the democratic process and the way we execute on free speech. And he believes that's fundamental to humanity. He is doing this as a good for all of us to keep these democratic norms that America seems to have both pushed into the world and now started to erode. So I think this is a free speech play, and I think it's great for shareholders and for all of us as a society.
Well, this is the story to follow that we will certainly be keeping up with. But I do want to shift gears a little bit. Let's head to California, where a new proposal to ban the sale of gas vehicles by 2035 is actually in the works. California Governor Gavin Newsom saying, quote, "Let us no longer be victims of geopolitical dictators that manipulate global supply chains and global markets." Jennifer, all right, is a complete switch to electric vehicles in California realistic, and is it even a good idea?
So I love this coming from a guy who's part of a political party that has shut down pipelines, shut down fracking, and they continue to fund and take orders from radical environmental groups that harm the very things that would power electric vehicles. What I think is going to happen is that people are going to take their gas cars and drive to other states. This is a boom to Texas, to Arizona, maybe even as far as Florida, but people are going to continue to pour out of California. They're going to erode their tax base, and it doesn't help working men and women. This is just a sort of a panacea to the woke mob.
Yeah, and Peloton joining the list of companies raising their subscription prices. Starting June 1st, the price per month of Peloton will now increase from $39 to $44 in the United States. At the same time, they will be lowering the price of the actual equipment. Seth, do you think this will help Peloton, or do you think members will start canceling their memberships?
You know, listen, when we look at other companies that have subscription-based resources or revenue, I should say, you know, when they do raise prices, they do lose some subscribers. This Friday, I can't talk. So it'll be interesting to see if people leave Peloton. That is a cultish-like subscriber, though. They got about 2.5 million of them, and they love this thing. That being said, subscription revenue is really only about 20 to 25% of Peloton's revenue, and their stock has plummeted. They need to do something quick. They can't get their products because of supply chain challenges. So if this is a way to keep the company afloat, it's a good move.
I want to end on kind of bit of an outlandish story, something kind of different. Well, an artist who wrapped 10 structures in New York City, including his best-known exhibit, the Washington Square Art, is now about to be a whole lot more famous. That's because a Connecticut mechanic actually found dozens of abandoned art pieces from the late Francis Hines, best known as New York's rapper with a W, in a rundown barn. That was 5 years ago when he found all of these pieces. Now, those pieces that he found are set to rake in millions when they get put up for sale this coming next month. Jennifer, do you love a story like this?
First, I need to clean out my house more often and see if I can find things like this. I love it. But second, I think the loveliest part of this and a happy way to end Friday is that the family of the artist said that the finder could keep it. And I think that's really lovely and that he can benefit from it. So I think it's just an overall great story. But every time I do clean things out, I never find valuable things, just more junk. But dang, this is a great story. I love it.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Finders keepers. Yeah, I always, like Antiques Roadshow, I always figure I'm going to find something like that interesting that's just randomly worth millions. Never do.
Yeah.
Jennifer, Stefano, Seth Denson, thank you both for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Happy
Thanks so
Easter.
much.
Happy Easter, guys.